Hey, hey, you over there, who the fuck are you? Get off my private property. That was a scene from the Danky Kang Free State. After all, we are living in a society of pure liberty, a society envisioned by the American founding fathers. Uh, except for a few of the pussy liberal ones, at least. But we have uh, uh, basically a giant farm here at the Denki Kang Free State. I am, of course, the king and overlord uh, in this land of liberty, and I have declared every virgin woman born among the populace to be my personal concubine. And so I have assembled a harem of women. Uh, and but some of my other neighboring free states, my fellow Ancap free states, have decided that their tastes are a little bit younger. I had said that they were essentially pedophile people's republics, but they assured me that it was actually called ephebophilia or something or something like that. Um, and that and that women actually reach full sexual maturity at like the age of 10 or something. So everybody has guns. I myself am rocking a classic uh, Colt revolver, much like the one used by Revolver Ocelot and in Metal Gear Solid. I can't do my gun twirls yet, but I have many personal slaves and as well as members of my private army that I've hired to teach me. Uh, now, I've ran into a little bit of like a land dispute with my other Free State neighbor, the Free State of Phil. And Phil is kind of an asshole. He's totally violating my non aggression principle by fucking dumping all of this toxic nuclear waste in my slave quarters area. And the guy is developing nukes because he is worried about other people violating their non-aggression principles and attacking him. So he's also worried about like somebody trying to get all of the little child slaves, cyborg robot slaves he has back. So he wants to build up his nuclear arms. I, for one, am going for like a tank. I'm going to build just a giant tank, amphibious, of course, so that I can retreat into a lake and dodge the nuclear. Hopefully, I can dodge the first like shockwave of the nuclear fire blast, and by the time the second one comes up, uh, there should still be enough water in the lake that hasn't evaporated yet that my tank can survive. And I should also probably build an underwater bunker so I could put all my slaves down there too, because I need to be able to like, make a profit uh, after the war with Phil. So, with all that being said, there's a fellow Ancap theoretician here to advance the brilliant Ancap theory. For those of you who are complete statist pieces of shit, uh, Ancap is a shortened term for anarcho-capitalism. And uh, don't let the name fool you, folks. It's totally anarchism. It's totally not just a fancier, more radical, crazier version of libertarianism. It's like libertarianism with edge. It's totally not that. It's definitely a legitimate political philosophy that has a lot of historical uh, backing and a lot of historical evidence that it actually works when put into practice, and it certainly elevates everybody's living standards. I mean, once you let the free market take control, once you let the free market decide, it all just works out. I mean, it's obvious. Read Adam Smith. Uh, but most idiot leftists don't do that. So let's hear from the horse's mouth itself. This fancy uh, guy, he has amassed. You can see in this sort of mansion a collection of his hoardings. He has a what appears to be a high caliber assault rifle fitted with a scope. He has another assault rifle. He has a double barreled shotgun. Piles of money, piles of golden bars, because of course, now some people's free states go Bitcoin. Uh, Mine, I am still trying to decide if I should go by a gold standard or if I should go by like a uh, uh, a limestone standard, because my uh, I kind of got a raw deal on when everybody was buying up all the free land, or all the unclaimed land. I kind of got a raw deal. I was late to the bidding, and I got somebody violated my non-aggression principle and fired on me, and so I just had no choice but to like nuke their entire house. Uh, well, not nuke. I ran it over with my tank, but I was using that like as a metaphor. Anyway, this guy, he's got raw milk. He's got a portrait of himself because, uh, like all anarcho-capitalists, they believe in themselves. They believe in themselves perhaps a little bit too much. Of course, he's got a bong. He's smoking that dank. He's smoking that Kim Dog. Yeah, he's smoking Kim Dog maybe. But he's probably growing his own. These guys are really kind of snooty about the weed that they smoke, and he's probably out there. He probably has like child slaves growing some really thick buds, like in his underground hydroponic chamber. Uh, anyway, his name is maybe one of the coolest names in the history of the galaxy, Mr. Dapperton. Mr. Dapperton. That's that's a cool that I mean that's just a cool moniker to call yourself, Mr. Dapperton. I really was kind of an idiot when I called myself Danky Kang. I thought it would be funny. It's just kind of stupid, but I'm gonna stick to it because it's like if you're named Ichabod when you're a kid, it's like you've got to stick with it because everybody calls you Icky when you're like a kid, and everybody knows you as Icky. So it's like you just got to stick with it, and you got to wear it loud and proud. Um, this guy's definitely wearing his name loud and proud. So let's hear what he has to say.
On November 4th, Antifa's got a little treat for you. They're going to violently overthrow you with guns. And
Um, November 4th. What year was this? What year? It's like Kyle Reese in Terminator. Um, September 3rd, 2017. All right, so this was 2017, first year of Trump's term, presidency, and this brilliant mind thought that Antifa was going to take their guns, which course, leftists are famous for having a giant supply of, and uh, rise up. And I mean, I remember when that happened too. I mean, you remember when like at Berkeley, uh, they pretty much like overthrew the city and declared themselves a people's republic. They they sent the they sent all the cops to the gulag. Do you remember that? I certainly do.
And they're also going to do this to overthrow Trump specifically.
I kind of wish that we lived in the world where this did happen, but this guy's imagination, I'll give it to him. He has a good imagination. This could be like a good like basis for um like a political fiction book or something. Uh but yeah, there's just one little tiny problem is that this didn't happen. this this didn't happen. Uh Nothing happened on November 4th, you idiot, except, normal stuff. Uh so, I guess you can call your nuclear missile strike off cuz it's not going to happen, dude.
And while they're doing this, they're also going
All right, let's see this. Expropriation and the cooperative economy. It says to carve out an autonomous territory or to begin the revolutionary process, goods, land, and tools must be expropriated or taken away from those who withhold them. We are striving towards a situation where necessities cannot be taken away from those who need them, but instead are shared with those who lack them. I mean, that's just like standard communist praxis. Um, the dude is acting like um, this is like some kind of Antifa, some kind of like secret cabal of Antifa leaders like met in a dark dungeon somewhere and plotted this stupid plan out. And this is probably just some passage taken from like Lenin over on like the process of how to establish a dictatorship of the proletariat. Like, I mean, that didn't happen. Where's these Antifa like holdouts? So where's these Antifa autonomous territories? So I can go live there instead of this fucking Trump hellscape that we live in now. I would rather uh, cast my lot in with a bunch of uh, with a bunch of comrades in a commune than live in this late capitalist, Trump, the Trump's America, you know.
going to go after the means of production, redistribute all the wealth, and they're going to remove gender constraints.
Oh boy, if if we let men dress as women and call themselves women and if we let women dress as men and call themselves men, I mean it'll just be, I mean that'll be like literally the exact same type of catastrophic disaster as like seizing the means of production. It'll literally be like the exact same level of revolution. I mean, that's not to disparage like the LGBT movement, but I mean uh it's the movement of gender identity rights and LGBT rights coincide with the proletarian revolution, uh, and um, so, of course, the proletarian revolution is going to carry an abolition of gender constraints because, I mean, the gender constraints that we have in our current society are ones largely influenced either consciously or unconsciously by capitalism. For example, the way that men are emphasized to be like breadwinners and women are emphasized to be like mothers and homemakers. This was for at least a while the capitalist ideal, at least until like the third wave feminist movement or something to that effect. I'll admit my knowledge of feminism and of feminist theory is uh, lacking. It's probably my weakest uh, point. But that being said, um, yeah, abolition of gender constraints. I mean, that doesn't really do any. That doesn't like hurt anybody. Nobody gets hurt. Like uh, you can argue that in the seizing of the means of production, like capitalists are gonna get hurt, and like maybe the people that defend them, like the cops, are gonna get hurt. But like otherwise, when you abolish gender constraints, like nobody's gonna get hurt. Like nobody's gonna die when you decide to let like girls uh play football. you know, it's it's just this guy uh he's truly uh he's just trying to look after the liberty. He's concerned with liberty, he's concerned with the freedom. And he but not too much, not too much. He doesn't want to abolish the he doesn't want to liberate the gender constraints. He doesn't want to give freedom to people to be gender fluid. uh so yeah.
I mean, if you're going to murder innocent people, you might as well remove the fact
I mean, in a proletarian revolution, uh this guy's acting like capitalists are innocent are innocent. And of course, like that's you can argue some are uh innocent in terms of like they aren't really aware with of what they're doing. But I mean, you could make the same exact argument for like the guards at Nuremberg who were just following orders. The capitalists, uh, want, if the proletarian revolution held like a tribunal, held like a court, and brought the capitalists to court, and were to try them, they can't just say, oh well, I was just following the capitalist hierarchical paradigm at the time, and that was my excuse for exploiting everybody and polluting the world. And uh, so yeah, Mr. Dapperton, let's continue on with his stunning theory.
fabric of society that built it up, capitalism, and you might as
Wait,
well
let's go back.
remove gender constraints. I mean, if you're going to murder innocent people, you might as well remove the fabric of society that built it up, capitalism.
um Capitalism didn't build up society, and to think this way is to ignore the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution was the thing that built our society up. The Industrial Revolution gave us the capacity to produce commodities uh, to a point where we had an abundance, and could mass produce them. And so uh, it was really the Industrial Revolution which can be thanked for elevating the status of human life. Capitalism is rather a weight dragging behind human development because it consolidates all of the wealth generated by that sort of industrial production towards a very selective small group of private owners. Uh, Owners like uh, Mr. Dapperton here, who has his gold bar hoard behind him and his private secure state, which is just brimming with liberty and freedom. Thomas Jefferson would be truly proud.
And you might as well remove what scientists believe to be sexes and create instead
We didn't say sexes, dip ass. We said genders. If you don't understand the difference, I suggest you pick up a biology textbook.
infinite genders. And the funniest part is they think they're helping. They think they're fixing society.
Yeah, because this guy's helping. This guy's actually helping. Um, this guy's helped a whole lot of people. I can tell he's really in the helpful mood. He's really in the mood of like trying to make society a better place and not just try to secure his own little crazy private kingdom for himself where he can rule like a little crazy dictator with his horde of guns and his drugs and his gold bars. Uh, what a freak.
society, right? But that's what happens when stupid people try to solve problems.
Yeah, because Ancap philosophy is so smart. It's so big brained, galaxy brained. In fact, we can expect in the year like 3320, when space explorers come across like a planet uh, where like the cities are built uh, on a planetary scale, like that scene in Star Wars. Uh, we can expect that alien society to be an Ancap society where everyone respects the private property of all of each other, and everyone fires phase-on lasers at each other if they violate their non-aggression principles. And everybody has giant energy barriers set up around their free state so that you don't get any intruders.
They pour gasoline on a fire. They make the problem worse. They try to prevent fascism. They're the goddamn fascists.
I love the old, Antifa are the real pho. That's a real hot diggity dog, spicy take. That's like the kind of spicy take you would find down in the Mexico where they cook with the real, muy caliente peppers. The real peppers that make you sweat. The good stuff that I like to eat. Yeah. Fascism is the real fascism. Yeah, when Hitler when Berlin was surrounded, Hitler was in the bunker. Uh, his guards came up to him and he said, "Holy shit, mein Führer, the fascists are coming! The fascists are coming, mein Führer, and it's not us. It's the fascists are here, and it's those damn Bolsheviks. They were the true fascists. How dare you violate my non-aggression principle? You fucking Juden! I'm going to make a panzer tank and send it into your tundra and freeze and die just to try to kill you, you idiot." Anyway, keep going.
They use violence and death to scare people to live a certain way that
Yeah, because capitalists don't use violence and death to scare people to like live a certain way, to like bend people to their will, to the will of private property. Um, this guy is like a gold mine of cringe, and I feel like I have just seen the surface of the vein, and it goes much much deeper than this, folks. We are going to have to tune back uh, in part two to find out what happened with the nefarious Antifa plot. Do you remember? Remember the 4th of November, the Antifa treason and plot. I do remember the 4th of November. I forgot the rest of the poem. I forgot.